The galaxy was always noisy. Signals traveled across the void, carrying songs, speeches, threats, and desperate cries. But one signal stood out. It was simple, short, and sent from a small blue world called Earth. The message repeated again and again, echoing into the stars. "This is Earth. Do not come here. This is your only warning." The words were not shouted. They were not spoken with fear. They were calm, steady, almost cold at first. Few races noticed. The galaxy was vast, and warnings like this often came from dying worlds trying to protect themselves. But when the Galactic Council officially recorded the signal, laughter filled the chambers. The Zathorian delegates, tall and armored in scaled plates, mocked the words. "Do not come here," one sneered. "Primitive insects think they can scare us." The Alari, who lived in great floating crystal cities, chuckled with soft voices. "Humans, ah yes. That species that only just discovered faster than light. Travel, they believe they are dangerous? How amusing." The council chamber roared with amusement. For thousands of years, new species had joined the galactic community. Some entered peacefully. Some resisted. But never, in all history, had a weak species sent a warning to the galaxy. The High Speaker of the Council, a massive being whose voice shook the air, declared, "Humans believe they can frighten us. They will learn their place. We will visit their world and show them the truth of the galaxy." The motion was carried. A scouting fleet was ordered to investigate Earth, but in the dark corners of the chamber, not all laughed at an older delegate. The Valian scholar Razir tapped his claws nervously. He had listened carefully to the human transmission. The words had not been a cry for help. They had not been desperate. They had been measured, as if the humans were not warning for their own safety, but for everyone else's. Razir spoke. Softly, almost to himself. Why did they say only once? Why no plea, no begging? They spoke as if they already decided what would happen if they are ignored. But his voice was lost in the laughter of the powerful. The fleet launched. 10 sleek warships of the Zorathi Dominion broke from their dockyards, sails glowing with energy as they entered slipspace. They were led by Commander Teiros, a proud officer, with years of conquest behind him. His soldiers cheered as they departed, eager for easy victory. Earth was nothing to them. A small, fragile world, home to a young species barely crawling into the stars. To the Zorathi, it was prey. "Do not come here," Teiros mocked, repeating the human signal with a grin. "We will come, and we will take everything you own." The soldiers laughed, believing this mission would be short and glorious. But when the fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's system, silence greeted them. Commander Teiros ordered scans. Planets, moons, asteroids, everything was mapped in seconds. Their sensors locked onto Earth itself, green and blue, spinning peacefully under its star. "Primitive world," his science officer reported. "Limited space industry. Small orbital stations, some military platforms, but nothing beyond early development." Teiros leaned back in his chair. "Easy prey. Prepare the message. Inform them the Dominion arrives." A broadcast was sent, a booming declaration of conquest, but no reply came. Only the same repeating human transmission filled their comms. "This is Earth. Do not come here. This is your only warning." The soldiers chuckled nervously. "They don't even answer us," one muttered. Teiros waved a claw. "Ignore it. Move closer." The fleet advanced, slipping deeper into the system. That was when the first ship vanished. One moment, it was gliding alongside the others. The next, its signal cut off instantly. No explosion, no distress call. Just silence. The bridge filled with alarm. What happened? Teiros demanded. "Unknown, Commander. One of ours is gone." "No debris, no readings, just gone." Another ship cried out seconds later. "Something is in the shadows. Movement detected. No, gone again." Screens flickered with brief shapes, dark, massive. Forms sliding through the void. But sensors showed nothing. Stealth technology? The science officer whispered. But no race has cloaking of that level. Then another ship disappeared. And another. Each one silenced without warning. Without chance to resist. By the time Teros ordered retreat, half the fleet was gone. The survivors panicked, engines burning bright as they tried to flee. But their path was cut off. Something vast loomed out. Of the darkness. At first, it looked like an asteroid, a jagged black mass drifting silently. But then it moved against gravity, engines glowing with deadly fire. It was a warship. No, not just a warship. A predator. Its hull was dark and scarred, built not for beauty but for terror. Weapons covered every surface, silent and waiting. Its size dwarfed the Zorathi ships, and on its surface, glowing faintly, was a single symbol, the mark of humanity. The human ship did not speak. It did not threaten. It simply opened fire. Beams of light and bursts of kinetic fire ripped through the fleeing Zorathi ships. Shields collapsed instantly. Armor crumbled. Crews screamed in disbelief as their mighty vessels fell apart in seconds. Commander Teros watched in horror as his flagship shook under impact. He screamed orders, but it was useless. The humans had them trapped. One by one, his fleet was destroyed. His final moments were filled with a single sound, the repeating human broadcast. "This is Earth. Do not come here. This is your only warning." Then silence. Days later, the Galactic Council waited for news. The Zorathi Dominion representative stood proudly, ready to announce their victory. But when the report came, his face turned pale. Commander Teros and fleet no longer respond. No debris found, no survivors. The chamber erupted in confusion. "Impossible!" shouted the Zithorians. "A young race could never destroy 10 warships," cried the Ilari, but evidence was clear. The fleet was gone. Some tried to argue it was an accident, a natural disaster. Others whispered that the humans had help from a stronger power. But the truth spread quickly. The warning was real. And it had been ignored. Whispers spread across the galaxy. Traders spoke of shadows moving in the void. Explorers swore they felt watched near Earth's system. Rumors grew into legends. They do not beg. They do not threaten. They only warn once. The old scholar Razir sat alone in his chamber, claws trembling as he replayed the human message again. "This is Earth. Do not come here. This is your only warning." He whispered to himself. They did not speak as prey. They spoke as hunters. The Council, arrogant and blind, had unleashed something they did not understand, and the galaxy would soon learn the price. The Galactic Council was restless. The loss of the Zorathi fleet had shaken the great powers. 10 warships had vanished, and no survivors had returned. For the first time in centuries, silence filled the chambers instead of laughter. But arrogance is a disease that runs deep. Perhaps it was an accident, the Zithorian delegate hissed. A black hole, a stellar storm, or their own incompetence. The Ilari waved a delicate hand of crystal. Do not forget, the Zorathi were reckless. Their commanders often underestimated weaker species. Maybe they destroyed themselves. Others agreed quickly, trying to calm their fear. After all, how could a young race like humans destroy a Dominion fleet? It was unthinkable, impossible. But there were whispers. Small voices carried through the council chambers. They were warned. The humans told them not to come. The message was ignored. The high speaker silenced the voices with a thunderous command. Enough, we will not bow to rumors. A new fleet will be sent. Larger, stronger. This time we will show these humans their true place in the galaxy. The decision was made. Second Fleet was far greater. 40 warships, drawn from multiple powers, gathered at the edge of the Sol system. The ships were beautiful and deadly sleek Ilari crystal cruisers, massive Zithorian dreadnoughts, fast Dominion raiders. They formed. A wall of firepower, a show of strength the galaxy had not seen in centuries. At their head stood Admiral Varric of the Zethorians. He was ruthless, cunning, and proud. He had crushed rebellions and shattered worlds. To him, humans were nothing but insects. He spoke to his officers with cold certainty. The Zorathi fleet was careless. We will not be. Today, humanity learns that their threats are empty. Today, we teach them fear. The fleet moved forward. At first, the system was quiet. The planets turned silently around their star. The human colonies on Mars and the moons of Jupiter seemed ordinary small, weak, barely defended. Sensors detected orbital stations, civilian transports, mining ships. Nothing dangerous, pathetic, Varric muttered. They bark like predators, but they crawl like prey. The fleet prepared to strike. Cruisers locked onto human stations. Dreadnoughts charged their weapons. The admiral stood tall, ready to give the order to fire. Then a voice spoke. It came over every channel, clear and calm, just as before. This is Earth. Do not come here. This is your only warning. The bridge of every alien ship went silent. It was the same message. No changes, no threats, no fear. Admiral Varric laughed. They dare to repeat themselves? Fools! Destroy their stations. Burn their colonies. Let us end this farce. The order was given. Weapons fired. The first human station exploded in a cloud of fire and debris. The second was torn apart by crystal beams from the Ilari. Civilian ships fled in panic, engines flaring as they scattered across the void. Alien officers laughed. The humans were running, hiding, dying. Just as expected, but then the laughter ended, because the human ships did not flee far. One of the transports stopped suddenly, its engines going dark. Then, as alien scanners locked onto it, the transport changed. Its hull shifted, peeling away. To reveal hidden weapons, armor plates unfolded like wings. What looked like a weak civilian vessel became a predator. The first shot came from that ship. A railgun blast cut straight through an Ilari cruiser, splitting it in half in one strike. Alarms screamed across the alien fleet. They are armed. The transports are warships. Another mining ship transformed, revealing missile bays. Hidden under layers of disguise, a storm of warheads streaked into the fleet, slamming into Zethorian shields. Dozens of civilian vessels revealed their true forms. They were not transports. They were hunters disguised as prey, and the trap had closed. Admiral Varric roared. Form battle lines. Destroy them. Alien fleets opened fire, but confusion spread quickly. The humans did not fight like any known race. They did not hold defensive lines. They did not exchange fire openly. They vanished. Human ships slipped into stealth, their signatures disappearing from sensors. The aliens fired blindly into the void, weapons flashing at empty space. Then the attacks came. A Zethorian dreadnought shuddered as its engines were ripped apart by invisible weapons. An Ilari cruiser screamed across comms before going silent, its hull sliced in two by something unseen. One Dominion raider fired desperately at a shadow, only to explode from within as boarding pods latched onto its hull. The humans were everywhere, but nowhere. Silent predators in the dark. Panic spread. On the bridge of his flagship, Varric slammed his fists against the console. Cowards, they hide like vermin. But even he could not deny the truth. Every alien fleet had faced war. They had crushed rebellions, fought rivals, burned worlds. But never had they faced this. Humans were not fighting to defend. They were hunting. Every attack was precise, calculated, cold. Varric's science officer trembled. Admiral, they knew we would come. This is a trap. Varric snarled. Then we break it. Bring the fleet together. Concentrate fire. The surviving ships gathered, forming a defensive sphere. Dozens of guns aimed into the void, waiting for the next strike. For a moment, There was silence. Then, slowly, a shape emerged from the darkness. It was a human warship, but it was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Massive, black, its surface bristled with weapons. Its engines burned cold blue, silent but unstoppable. The ship drifted forward. Alone, fearless, Admiral Varric felt his throat tighten. He had faced countless enemy warships before, but none had filled him with such dread. This ship did not look like a vessel of defense. It looked like a predator built to kill. Its name glowed faintly on the hull, written in human script, HFY Revenant. The Revenant spoke no words. It gave no warning. It opened fire. The first barrage tore through the alien defenses. Beams of light and kinetic slugs smashed into Zethorian dreadnoughts, shredding their armor like paper. Missiles screamed into the Ilari line, detonating with terrifying precision. Alien weapons fired back, but the Revenant moved like a shadow, its stealth systems flickering in and out of existence. Every shot it fired landed. Every strike crippled. Ships exploded one after another, their crews screaming into the void. The defensive sphere collapsed under the assault. Alien officers begged for orders. Soldiers panicked, fleeing to escape pods. Admirals shouted commands that no one could follow. And through it all, the Revenant moved forward, slow and steady. Unstoppable. On the Council worlds far away, live feeds from the battle reached the leaders. They watched in silence as their fleets were torn apart. Some whispered in disbelief. No, this cannot be real. Humans do not have this technology. But the truth was undeniable. The humans had not only warned them, they had prepared. Every alien watching the feeds felt the same chill. The calm human message echoed in their minds. This is Earth. Do not come here. This is your only warning. Now for the first time they understood. It was not a threat. It was a promise. Hours later, the battlefield was silent. Wreckage floated across the void. Alien ships lay in ruins, torn apart and burning. Out of 40 warships, only a handful limped away, fleeing desperately into slipspace. The Revenant remained, silent and unmoving, its dark hull reflecting the fire of the battlefield. It did not chase the survivors. It did not need to. The message was already clear. Back in the council chambers, chaos erupted. Delegates shouted, screamed, demanded answers. How can this be? They are too young to build such weapons. They should not have this power. But no one had answers. Razir, the old Valian scholar, rose slowly. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the noise. You all laughed at their warning. You mocked their words. But the humans spoke truth. They told us once, and only once. We ignored them. He looked at the leaders, his eyes grim. And now the galaxy bleeds. The survivors of the battle returned with broken ships and shattered pride. Their reports spread like wildfire. Tales of ships vanishing in shadows, of war machines that struck with surgical precision, of a single human vessel that destroyed fleets with terrifying ease. Fear gripped the galaxy. Traders avoided human space. Explorers abandoned routes near Earth. Soldiers whispered in fear of the Revenant, the ghost ship that hunted in silence. And yet, despite everything, some leaders refused to believe. They are still only one world, the Ilari said. They cannot stand against all of us. But others were not so sure. The humans had shown only a fraction of their strength. And already, the galaxy trembled. The war had only begun. The galaxy had not seen fear like this in centuries. Stories of the humans spread faster than light. Merchants whispered them in crowded spaceports. Soldiers repeated them in hushed voices. Children in distant colonies had nightmares about black ships with no names. The words were always the same. They warned us once. They never warned twice. The destruction of the Second Fleet had been recorded and broadcast across the stars. The sight of the HFY Revenant tearing through 40 ships had burned itself into every mind. Some refused to believe it, claiming the recordings were false. Others believed too much, speaking of humans as monsters wrapped in flesh. In the Great Galactic Council, chaos ruled. Delegates screamed at each other, pointing claws and hands and tendrils. "They cannot be allowed to continue," shouted the Zathorian representative. "They are only one world," the Ilari argued. "One world cannot stand against the galaxy." "And yet they already have," muttered a smaller delegate. His words were ignored. The high speaker slammed a fist down, silencing the chamber. "Enough. The humans must be studied. We must know how they fight, how they build, how they kill. If we understand them, we can destroy them." It was decided. Scouts would be sent. Spies, informants. They would learn the truth of humanity. But none of them understood. Humanity did not fight in light. Humanity fought in the shadows. The first spy mission was launched weeks later. A sleek Ilari scout ship crept into Sol space, invisible to most sensors. Its crew watched Earth from a distance, recording, scanning, studying. They saw cities shining with light, filled with billions of humans. They saw industry stretching across the planet, stations in orbit, colonies on nearby worlds. To the Ilari, it looked normal, even weak. "They are not gods," one scout muttered. "They are only flesh. Look at them. They live like children." But every time they drew closer, their systems failed. Radars flickered. Engines glitched. Weapons locked without command. It was as if the humans could see them, even in stealth. One night, as the ship drifted near the moon, a voice filled there. "Comes, you should not be here." The crew froze. They scanned desperately, but nothing appeared. No ships, no signals. Just that calm human voice. "Leave now. This is your only warning." The captain hesitated. Then, pride winning over fear, he ordered the ship to stay. Seconds later, the stars themselves seemed to move. Something vast slid out of the darkness. Black hull, silent engines. No name visible. The Ilari crew screamed as the shadow grew larger, blocking the stars. Then the ship vanished from the galaxy forever. Reports of missing scouts poured in. Dominion spies, Zathorian agents, Ilari scouts, none returned. Each sent one final transmission, shadows, voices, warnings. Then nothing. The council grew desperate. Why can we not find them? Why do their ships vanish like ghosts? What are they hiding? The old scholar Razir finally spoke. His voice was low, but it carried weight. "You cannot see them because they do not wish to be seen. The humans are not hiding their strength. They are showing us only what they choose." But once again, no one listened. Meanwhile, the humans watched in bunkers deep beneath Earth's surface, in command stations on Mars, in hidden bases on the moons of Saturn. Commanders studied every alien move. The Revenant was not alone. Across the solar system, ghost fleets waited. War machines slumbered in silence, cloaked from alien eyes. Titans drifted in the void, their black hulls blending with the stars. For centuries, humanity had prepared. Quietly, carefully, they had built weapons no other race could match. They had learned from every war of their past, every mistake, every scar. Now their patience was ending. General Marcus Kane stood in Earth's Central War Command, hands behind his back as he watched holographic displays. His face was calm, carved from iron. "Aliens continue to send scouts," his officer reported. "All have been eliminated." Kane nodded slowly. "Good. Let them wonder. Fear will spread faster than our ships." He turned to his staff. "But fear is not enough. The council will not stop. They will send more fleets. We must prepare for the storm." His eyes narrowed, cold as steel. "They ignored our warning. Now we will show them war." The storm came sooner than expected. The council, still blinded by arrogance, launched another fleet. This time, 80 ships. The largest strike force ever assembled against a single world. It moved with purpose, tearing across slipspace toward Earth. The commanders believed numbers would win. After all, no matter how strong the humans were, they could not stand against overwhelming force. But humans did not fight in open numbers. They fought in shadows. The alien fleet entered the Sol system with fire and pride. Their ships glowed bright against the black. They advanced in perfect formation, weapons armed, engines burning. For hours, nothing happened. No human ships appeared. No weapons fired. It seems the stories were lies, one alien captain muttered. Perhaps the humans only had one great ship, others agreed. Confidence returned. They prepared to strike. Then the lights began to die. One by one, alien ships lost power. Engines failed. Weapons shut down. Darkness spread across the fleet. What is happening? Commanders screamed. Their sensors flickered. Screens showed static. Then, for a brief second, each ship saw the same image. A human face. Calm. Cold. Watching. Then it was gone. Panic spread. Captains shouted. Crews scrambled. Some ships reignited their engines, but their formations broke apart. That was when the humans struck. The Revenant returned, sliding from the void like a shadow. But it was not alone. 3 more ships appeared beside it, black and silent. Each one bristled with weapons, engines burning cold blue. The alien fleet fired desperately, but their shots went wild. The humans were too fast, too precise. Explosions ripped across the void. Alien dreadnoughts crumbled. Cruisers split apart. Fighters scattered in chaos, only to be hunted down by human interceptors that came out of nowhere. It was not a battle. It was slaughter. Admiral Voras, commander of the alien fleet, stood frozen on his bridge. He had fought many wars. He had won countless battles. But never had he seen anything like this. The humans did not just kill. They erased. Every strike was exact. Every move was calculated. It was as if the humans already knew where he would send his ships, as if they could see the future. His science officers stammered in terror. "Admiral, they are reading us. They know every move before we make it." Voras whispered, voice broken. "No, they are not reading us. They are controlling us." Moments later, his flagship was torn apart by a storm of railgun fire. Back in the council chambers, silence reigned. The feed from the battle had ended in static. 80 ships had been destroyed. No survivors reported. The delegates sat frozen, unable to speak. For the first time, the great powers of the galaxy felt true fear. "They cannot be stopped," whispered one. "They are not a young race," muttered another. "They are something else." Razir, the old scholar, stood again. His voice was steady, though his claws trembled. "You do not understand. The humans do not fight for conquest. They do not fight for glory. They fight because we ignored them. They gave us one warning, and we refused it." His eyes swept across the chamber. "And now they will bring war to us all." In the shadows of space, the Revenant drifted silently among wreckage. Its crew said nothing. Its commander gave no speech. They did not need to. The galaxy already understood. But deep within Earth's War Command, General Kane studied the reports. He saw fear spreading. He saw enemies gathering. He knew what was coming next. The humans had defended their world. But now the galaxy would not stop. Soon, defense would not be enough. Kane's voice was calm as he gave the order. "Prepare the fleets. Begin the shadow war." And so, humanity stepped out of the shadows, not as prey, not as equals, but as predators the galaxy had never known. The war of shadows had begun. The galaxy was no longer laughing. The shadow battles around Earth had changed everything. First 10 ships, then 40, then 80 gone. Entire fleets erased. Survivors spoke of nightmares, ships vanishing into darkness, human war machines appearing from nowhere, and a single calm message repeating again and again. "This is Earth. Do not come here." This is your only warning." But still, arrogance ruled the Galactic Council. They gathered once more in the Great Chamber, filled with voices of hundreds of worlds. Their pride was wounded, but their hatred burned stronger. "They cannot be allowed to grow stronger," shouted the Zathorian delegate, slamming his clawed fist. "They humiliated us." The Ilari hissed, crystals glowing in anger. "They make the galaxy tremble," a Dominion warlord spat. "If we bow now, we will live in their shadow forever." The High Speaker raised his voice, deep and thunderous. "We will not kneel before primitives. If shadows guard their world, then we will burn the shadows away. The humans must be crushed." A roar of agreement shook the chamber. A war unlike any before was declared. The galaxy would unite not for peace, not for defense, but for vengeance. Within weeks, the largest armada in galactic history was assembled. 300 ships from every major power gathered near the rim of human space. Titans, dreadnoughts, cruisers, swarms of fighters, an ocean of firepower. It was not just a fleet. It was a declaration of domination. At its center stood Supreme Admiral Zorath of the Zathorians, chosen to command this grand war. He was ruthless, brutal, and merciless. His voice carried across the armada as he spoke. "Today, we end the human threat. Today, we erase their world from the stars. Their shadows will not save them. Their tricks will not stop us. We are the galaxy's will, and we will burn them down." The soldiers roared. The fleet surged forward, entering slipspace. The galaxy held its breath. On Earth, silence reigned. General Marcus Kane stood in the War Command Center, staring at the massive holographic map. Red dots. Enemy ships moved steadily closer. "They are sending everything," whispered one of his officers. 300 ships, another muttered. It's the largest armada ever seen." Kane did not move. His eyes were calm, his voice steady. "They were warned. They did not listen. Now they will understand." He turned to his staff. "Activate the fleets. Release the Titans. No mercy." The armada entered the Sol system with fury. Hundreds of alien ships glowed against the black, engines burning, weapons armed. They spread across the system, searching for their prey. But the system was empty. "Where are they?" commanders demanded. "Where are the human fleets? Where are the defenses?" Scanners showed only silence. Earth turned slowly below, blue and green, fragile against the void. "It is a trick," muttered one captain. "They are hiding again," another growled. Supreme Admiral Zorath laughed, sharp and cruel. "Then let them hide. Burn their planet. Burn everything." The order was given. Hundreds of ships aimed their weapons at Earth. And then the stars moved. At first, the aliens thought it was an illusion. Small glimmers of light, faint shadows drifting. But the shadows grew larger. Shapes emerged, silent and black, sliding out of the darkness itself. One ship appeared, then another, then dozens, then hundreds. The humans had not hidden their fleets. They had hidden their entire army. The Titans arrived, massive war machines, each larger than the alien dreadnoughts, their hulls black as the void, their weapons glowing with deadly fire. Their engines burned cold and silent, like predators stalking prey. At their head drifted the Revenant, silent as always, calm and waiting. The human fleet surrounded the alien armada, boxing them in from every side. Panic filled the alien bridges. They were waiting for us. They knew we were coming. "It's a trap." And then the human spoke. The same calm voice echoed across every channel, across every ship, across the entire armada. "This is Earth. You were warned. Now you will know our wrath." The first human volley tore through the alien fleet. Titan railguns fired in unison, slugs moving faster than thought, punching through shields and armor alike. Entire cruisers shattered in seconds. Missile storms filled the void. Hundreds of warheads streaking toward the alien ships. detonating with terrifying precision. Beams of light carved through dreadnoughts, splitting them open like paper. The galaxy's greatest fleet, proud and strong, was torn apart in moments. Admiral Zorath screamed orders, his voice breaking with rage. Fight back! Kill them, do not break! Alien ships fired desperately, filling space with beams, plasma, and fire. But their shots struck nothing. Human ships danced between attacks, vanishing into stealth, striking from new angles. Every alien volley hit only shadows. Every human strike found its target. It was not a battle. It was execution. Across the system, chaos reigned. A Zethurian dreadnought tried to retreat, engines flaring as it fled. But a Titan appeared in its path, massive and silent. One shot. One blast. The dreadnought was gone. An Alari crystal cruiser tried to hide behind a moon. But human stealth ships emerged from the shadows, slicing it apart with precision strikes. Dominion raiders, fast and agile, swarmed in desperation. But human fighters intercepted them, faster, sharper, relentless. No matter where they ran, no matter how they fought, the aliens were hunted. Inside the council chambers far away, the live feeds told the story. Delegates watched in horror as their proud fleet was destroyed. They saw Titans tearing through their strongest ships. They saw their soldiers dying in silence. They heard the calm human broadcast repeating, "You were warned. This is your only warning." The chamber was silent. For the first time, no one argued. No one mocked. No one denied. Fear held them all. Back in the battle, Admiral Zorath realized the truth. They could not win. His fleet, the greatest ever built, was collapsing. His soldiers, the bravest of the galaxy, were breaking. The humans had been waiting, patient, watching, planning. He thought of the warning. He thought of the arrogance of the council. And for the first time in his life, Zorath felt fear. His final words, recorded before his flagship exploded, were simple. "We should have listened." Hours later, silence fell. The battle was over. 300 alien ships lay in ruins. Wreckage drifted across the void, burning like dying stars. The greatest armada in history was nothing but ash. The human fleet stood victorious. The Titans drifted in formation, silent, calm, unstoppable. The Revenant moved slowly through the wreckage, its hull reflecting the fires of the dead. It did not speak. It did not celebrate. It simply waited. On Earth, General Kane watched the reports. His officers cheered, their voices filled with triumph. But Kane did not smile. "This was only the beginning," he said quietly. "The galaxy will not surrender so easily. They will come again. They will send more." He turned to his commanders, his eyes sharp. "Then we will not wait for them. We will strike first. We will show them what happens when humanity unleashes its wrath." And so, the decision was made. Humanity would no longer stand in defense. Humanity would no longer fight only when provoked. Humanity would bring the war to the galaxy. News of the battle spread like wildfire. Every world, every race, every soldier knew the truth now. The humans were no longer prey. They were predators, unmatched and unstoppable. Some spoke in fear. "They cannot be fought. They will burn us all." Others spoke in anger. "We must unite again. We must destroy them or be destroyed." But whispers grew in the shadows. Quiet voices, fearful voices. "Perhaps we should have listened. Perhaps we cannot fight them. Perhaps humanity is the wrath of the stars." And as the galaxy trembled, the humans prepared. The Titans were ready. The fleets were armed. The shadows waited. The warning had been ignored. Now, the wrath of Earth was unleashed. The galaxy was burning. Flames of war spread across star systems, and the smoke of destruction traveled through space like scars. Entire fleets, once proud and strong, now floated as wrecks, broken metal drifting silently. Planets once shining with life were now dark, their skies filled with ash. and at the center of it all were humans. They had warned the galaxy. Their voice had been clear. "Do not come. This is your only warning." But no one listened. Now their wrath was unleashed, and the galaxy trembled in fear. The council in ruins, the Galactic Council, once the heart of unity, was broken. The great chamber, where leaders from hundreds of species once argued and laughed, now echoed with silence. Only a few survivors sat at the long table. Their faces showed fear. Their voices shook. The Valen Chancellor whispered, "Their fleets, they arrive like shadows. Our scanners see nothing until it is too late. How can we fight such power?" The Kaumbi. Gorak warlord slammed his clawed hand on the table. "We are the warriors of 1,000 conquests. We do not bow." But even as he spoke, his eyes betrayed his fear. His species had lost 5 homeworlds already. Their armies were crushed. Their ships shattered. Another leader, a Frachian elder with trembling tentacles, spoke softly. "We should have listened to the warning. We thought them weak. We thought them prey. But they are something else." The room went quiet. Everyone knew it was true. Human wrath across the stars. Humanity no longer defended Earth. They attacked. Massive fleets of human warships jumped across systems without warning. One moment the skies above an alien world were peaceful. The next moment they were filled with fire. Human titans, colossal war machines, hidden for centuries. Like giants of death. Their weapons tore through shields and armor with terrifying ease. Alien fleets tried to resist, but resistance meant only destruction. In every battle, humans were calm, cold, and precise. They did not celebrate victory. They did not show mercy. They simply erased their enemies. Alien soldiers spoke in whispers. They called humans the wrathful ones. Some even began to believe humans were not flesh and blood at all, but demons wrapped in metal. The broadcast then came the moment that silenced the galaxy. From the depths of Earth, a new broadcast was sent. Every screen, every comms channel, every starship receiver in the galaxy lit up with the same image. It was a human. Not dressed in armor, not carrying a weapon. Just a man in simple clothes, standing in front of a black background. His eyes were calm, steady, and cold. His voice carried across every world. "You were warned once. You did not listen. Now you know the price of arrogance. Humanity does not seek war. But when war is forced upon us, we bring wrath. This is the last message you will hear. There will not be a second warning." The broadcast ended, and silence fell over the stars. Fear across worlds on alien worlds. Panic spread. Civilians screamed. Leaders hid. Soldiers refused to fight. Some species tried to surrender. They sent messages begging for mercy, but no human replied. Their fleets still came. Their weapons still struck. Others tried to flee, abandoning their planets, running into deep space. But even there, human ships appeared. It seemed there was no escape. Stories began to spread among the galaxy, of human warships that moved faster than light itself, of soldiers who fought without fear, their eyes cold as stone, of machines that seemed alive, hunting like predators, and, worst of all, stories of Earth itself. Earth's secret whispers told of how Earth had prepared in silence for centuries, while the galaxy fought wars among themselves. While they mocked humans as weak, Earth had been building. Beneath mountains, inside oceans, hidden in deep space, they had forged weapons beyond imagination. Titan war machines that could shatter moons, stealth fleets that could not be tracked, super weapons that burned the skies of entire planets. Some said even their soldiers were different. That humans had trained their bodies and minds to endure horrors other species could not imagine. That pain, fear, and loss only made them stronger. Now the galaxy saw the truth. Humanity had never been weak. They had only been waiting. The last stand-in one-star system, the remaining fleets of 5 alien empires gathered. It was the last hope of resistance. Hundreds of warships formed a wall of firepower. Their leader shouted, "If we fall, the galaxy falls with us. Fight!" And then the humans arrived, not with a single fleet but with many. They came from all directions, their ships appearing like ghosts. Titans of war led the charge. The battle that followed was brutal. Alien ships fired everything they had. Explosions filled the void. Planets shook under the force of weapons, but the humans did not break. They moved with perfect coordination, striking weak points, tearing fleets apart piece by piece. Within hours, the greatest defense the galaxy had ever built was nothing but ruins. The survivors drifted in silence, staring at the stars. They had tried everything. Nothing worked. The Council's desperation back in the Council chamber. Despair filled the air. The Fraxian elder finally spoke, his voice weak. "We cannot win. If we continue, there will be nothing left. We must beg for peace." The Gorek warlord growled, but even he had no strength left. His claws shook. His eyes were empty. The Valen Chancellor whispered, "Peace? Do you think they will hear us? Do you think they will forgive?" No one answered, because they all remembered the broadcast. There will not be a second warning. The final message again days later. The galaxy received one last human transmission. This time, it was not a threat. It was a command. The same man appeared on the screen. His eyes cold, his voice steady. "From this day forward, the galaxy will follow new rules. No fleets will enter human space. No armies will threaten Earth. Those who break these rules will face extinction. Humanity will not conquer you. Humanity will not rule you. But humanity will never forgive disobedience. You were warned once. Remember it." The message ended. Across the galaxy, fear turned into silence. A galaxy changed forever. The wars stopped. The Council obeyed. No one dared challenge humans again. Planets rebuilt their cities in fear. Fleets stayed near their home systems. Soldiers whispered about the wrath of Earth. And in the shadows, humans remained watchful. Their titans stood ready. Their fleets stayed hidden, because they knew one day the galaxy might forget. One day, arrogance might return, and when that day came, humanity would remind them again. The whisper of fear across alien taverns, in dark spaceports, in quiet homes, one phrase spread like fire. We thought humans were prey, but they were predators, waiting to awaken. Children grew up hearing the story. Soldiers carried it in their hearts. Leaders remembered it with trembling fear. And whenever the stars grew quiet, some swore they could still hear the warning echo across space. "Do not come. This is your only warning.